Now, the Lufthansa Group featured this livery on 4 of their aircraft, one in the Lufthansa livery, one Brussels, one Swiss and one Austrian Airlines liveries. And I could easily have seen them make a box or maybe 2 boxes featuring all these aircraft. But Herpa, as the bottle jobs they are, of course, missed this opportunity and released this single aircraft, 6 to 12 months after the livery was actually relevant. So does this aircraft model actually make sense for collectors in 2025 when it was finally released? And how have they actually done with it? That's what we want to find out in this review, which we can do thanks to the great prices of the F&B shop. They do still have a sale going on, so do check them out. There's a link to them in the video description below. So with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A320-200 of Lufthansa. And oh wonder, Lufthansa does not want to have the usual crap Herpa Wings box design. No, they want something that looks decent. So we have a lovely image of the aircraft in real life at the front of the box together with the Lufthansa branding, and that image we can also find on the back side. So why Herpa not just do this or a similar box design instead of what you usually do, which nobody wants? Apart from that, we can then also mention that this is a limited edition. So now let's look inside and at the model itself. And here she is, the Airbus A320-200 in the Yes to Europe special livery of Lufthansa. As mentioned, this Yes to Europe livery was also applied on a Swiss, Austrian and Brussels Airlines aircraft model, and it would have been a brilliant box for Herpa to release, but they of course missed out on this opportunity. The Yes to Europe campaign from Lufthansa was of course leading up to the elections of the European Parliament, and this is actually the second time they've done such a campaign. They also did it with the previous rounds of parliamentary elections. But apart from Herpa being late to the party as usual, how have they done with this aircraft model? That is what we want to find out. So let's take a closer look at it, starting off with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer do find the Lufthansa branding. On the fuselage, we then find the full registration code of the aircraft. We find the German flag and the flag of the European Union. We do also have a bit of detailing towards the very tail of the aircraft in form of the APU exhaust, and when we look on top of the fuselage, we do also have a physical set dome. But apart from that, we actually also have a smaller set dome indicated in print. Lovely work, Herpa Wings. As I said many times before, if you can't do these set domes in the correct size and placement, especially with the smaller set domes, then add them as a printed detail. Here we have the combination, which I think is really nice. So a great start so far. Now at the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage, we then of course have the writing of Yes to Europe with the European stars. Underneath that we have the Lufthansa branding. Next to the cabin door we have the little yellow square, which is part of the Lufthansa livery. We have some static ports. We of course have the Star Alliance logo, of which Lufthansa is a founding member. And we have another static port and the Lufthansa logo underneath the cockpit windows, which leads us to the cockpit section itself, which has, well, the cockpit windows and the window wipers, but that's about it. And as always, we do have a little bit of a wonky cockpit shape. From some angles it looks fine, from some angles it looks a bit odd. Yeah, that's a major topic with all A320s of Herpa Wings, unfortunately. The engine nacelles on this aircraft model, well, they have been kept in all white, just as most of the fuselage, but do have the silver leading edge and something that really helps them out, the safety markings. The physical detailing of them is, I think, pretty much alright. Nothing majorly to complain about here, and looks quite nice also when we look into them from the front. Very, very nice. You can see the engine fan blades. And then on the fuselage, just above the wings, we have the emergency exits printed on. That leads us straight to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at, starting off with the top side, where we have the different flap slats and spoilers carved out fairly nicely, and we also have the markings for the emergency exits printed on. The underside of the wing has more nice physical detailing, and then the A320 in this case has been fitted with these lovely winglets, where we again have the Lufthansa branding. But of course, with Herpa Wings being quite inconsistent around the winglets, at least in the past, we do need to check every model individually to see if they have bent those correctly. I think in this case we've gotten lucky. This looks just fine, at least in my opinion. Then we of course have the landing gear. That is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all the Airbus A320 family aircraft models. The main landing gear looks fine. The front landing gear remains massively oversized. It is a big shame that Herpa cannot revert to what they used to in the past, which looked much better. And of course, we still don't get any printed details here either. On the belly of the aircraft, we then have the hole in the fuselage for a stand that is, of course, not included with this aircraft model, making it very pointless. But at least it doesn't destroy any printed details, as we have no printed details here. And then last but not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here at the back of the aircraft and also here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A320-200 in the Yes to Europe special livery of Lufthansa from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Look, I think it is a nice aircraft model. I like the campaign of Lufthansa. I think it is an important and good message to send out there. It doesn't matter what political side you are in, but we are definitely stronger together. In any case, it is, however, just a shame that Herpa Wings is so late to the party. I mean, this is not the fashionable 15 minutes late to a party. This is coming after the party has ended. And as I said, if Herpa had managed to release this maybe 6 or even 12 months earlier, having like a box with maybe 2 each or even one box with all 4 aircraft models would have been a really cool thing. But of course, Herpa being Herpa, they just didn't manage to do so, and we then only got this one very late arrival. And to be frank, I don't think it makes much sense anymore. And I mean, what does the model actually offer? We have the A320 mode, which has a strange cockpit section. We have the oversized front landing gear. We have 2 different white tones, one on the fuselage, one on the wings. And if you place this next to other Lufthansa models, you will also again see that the white tones are constantly changing. And also the blue tones are constantly changing. I mean, yes, in the past they were darker, which I didn't think was correct. Here, I think the blue tone is closer to what it should look like. But again, it's just annoying that I couldn't even place this aircraft model next to another Lufthansa model without them looking completely different. That's inconsistency from Herpa Wings, which is frankly unacceptable. And with an official retail price of Herpa Wings set at 40 euros, it hardly works as a donor model if you want to make a nice custom model out of it. So yeah, I did get it, but honestly speaking, I don't really want or can recommend this to any collectors. I think we should put this down under the section of I bought this aircraft model so you don't have to. And with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this review, then feel free to leave a like. If you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? And with that, thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.